Well, with winter now in full swing across the country, Environment and Climate Change Canada is changing how it warns about severe weather. The department launching a new color-coded weather alert system. Joining us this morning is Gerald Cheng from Environment and Climate Change Canada. Gerald, thanks for taking time for us. If you can just start by telling us about this new system and maybe take us through the new designations.
Good morning, Jefferson. Well, the new color-coded weather alerts. So now, in the past we have weather alerts, but they were quite complicated, and we're trying to make it easier to understand. So now all the weather alerts will be assigned a color, and the color reflects the risk the weather may pose to you. And the weather alert color can change from yellow to orange to red, and that means the risk is escalating.
And so why the change, Gerald? What was the impetus for this?
Well, the impetus for this is because it's a recommendation from the World Meteorological Organization. And what they found is that countries that have adopted a color-coded weather alert system, such as the UK, France, New Zealand, Australia, Argentina, it has been very successful, and the citizens there really understand it. And so, sometimes we have weather events that are, even though they're well forecast, but then people don't respond to them because they don't understand the information.
And so, Gerald, have the actual thresholds changed? I know that we had sort of, when we hit this much snow within a given period, or if the temperature was this cold for a certain period of time, they would kick in. Have those thresholds changed for when people will be warned?
I'm glad you asked about that, because in the past, our old system was based on single criteria threshold. And we expected in the past that single criteria threshold would tell us what the impacts would be, but that's not necessarily the case. It depends on a lot of things, like the vulnerability of the communities, if you are recovering from a previous storm, let's say. And so we realized that the thresholds, they're not static. They should be changing depending on the conditions. And that's what the World Meteorological Organization is recommending, is that we focus on what the weather will do in addition of what the weather will be. So they're not thresholds, but they're guidelines. So we do need to talk to other government agencies, other levels of government, and we need to get information from critical infrastructure operators to understand, hey, if this weather event is coming and these are the numbers, what's going to be the impact you foresee. So there's exchange of information, not just with meteorologists, but with other people as well.
There have also been these special weather statements that have been issued over the years to sort of maybe, it looked like, to fill some of the gaps that didn't fit the thresholds. Will we still see some of those?
Well, we will have special weather statements as an option to provide additional information about weather events that are currently happening or that may happen. And of course, they can also let you know well ahead of time if something significant is going to happen, but they're not part of the weather alert suite. So, we will use the colors to really indicate what the risk level is going to be from the weather.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for clarifying that this morning, Gerald. Much appreciated. That is Gerald Cheng with Environment and Climate Change Canada.